Good afternoon, everybody. Today, on behalf of GJEPC, we are going to do a webinar on duty drawback. We have with us Mr. Anand Jha, who is Joint Commissioner Drawback, Mr. Ashok Seth, who is our Regional Chairman North, and Mr. KK Dugal, who is our Director Trade and Policy North. So I would request Mr. Dugal, Mr. Ashok Seth to say a few words.
So, who first to speak, Mr. Dugal or me?
You, sir, you give the opening.
Formal welcome. Formal welcome.
All right. So, Mr. Anand Jha, you are welcome on behalf of GJPC and my colleague members, exporters. I would like to welcome you. You are a Joint Commissioner, Drawback. I am extremely thankful to you, and you have accepted our invitation to be the speaker for today's webinar, and we will be addressing an important issue of duty drawback. All members who have joined us will give their feedback and they can question in chat. I'm sure this discussion today will be extremely useful for you and will be enlighten you all, and I sincerely hope that today all your queries will be solved. With this, I will ask Mr. Dugal to give some few words, a few facts about duty drawback.
Thank you, Regional Chairman, Seth, and welcome Mr. Jha to this webinar. As you all know, the export of gems and jewelry, for its export, it is very important that all the raw materials are given at the international price and free of import duty. Then only one can export. So, whereas the raw material for diamonds and precious stones, means that the rough diamonds and the rough precious stones are as it is allowed duty-free import, the import of precious metal, gold and silver, is attracting duties. Till about 2012-13, the import duty was just about 2%. During that time, it was increased from 2 to 4, 6, and then 10. And about a year and a half ago, it was increased to 12.5. At present, there is 12.5% duty on import of gold and silver. So for that, unless the duty-free material is available to the exporter, they cannot compete in the market and they cannot export. Now the exporters have basically to fall back on the nominated agencies who are authorized by RBI or by the DGFT to import this raw material of precious metal and give it to the exporters. The exporters can get on the basis of advance, whereby they take it on loan or on full payment, and they have to export within 90 days, or they can claim on replenishment. In both the schemes, India has to import first and then give to the exporters. So the Council, way back in 2007, took up the issue of providing duty drawback on gold so that the domestic gold can be used for export and the exporters can claim the drawback refund and quote in the international prices. At that time, the Joint Secretary in Drawback Department, Jha Sahab, was Mr. Najib Shah. Initially, he was a little hesitant, but after a series of meetings which we had, and I personally went to him a few times, he was convinced, and drawback for the first time for our trade was announced in 2008. And then we had a series of seminars all over the country to popularize it. In fact, Mr. Shah, Rajiv Shah himself went to Bangalore to attend to first such seminar. All the commissionerates were asked to issue notifications or public notices about the scheme and how they would be managing it. And so in 2008, for the first time, this scheme became applicable. And the scheme has many advantages. over the other two schemes of advanced gold or replenishment gold. First, as I said earlier, through this scheme, the exporters can use the domestic gold and thereby save the much needed foreign exchange for the country. It has been the endeavor of the present government also in their first term as well as now that we should use as much as possible the domestic gold, put it to some positive use. Right now it is lying idle. Through the drawback scheme, the exporters can buy the domestic gold, make it into jewelry, and then export and claim the amount of duty as a drawback. The second main advantage is that whereas in other schemes, when the exporter approaches the nominated agencies to buy gold, he has to buy a minimum quantity of 1 kilo. So the exporters of studded jewelry studded with diamonds and precious stones, where the basic requirement of raw material of gold is not much and the value is very high, so they are not able to get the benefit of duty-free gold there, as no agency is willing to give less than 1 kg. And there also they have certain procedures there. You have to apply, you have to give them bank guarantees, and you have to give full payment either in advance or take it on loan on and heavy interest and penalties are charged. The drawback scheme is one of the most, I would say, the most effective scheme. But unfortunately, somehow it has not picked up as much as we would have liked. Primarily because, number one, the exporters are either not aware and they feel that for drawback also they will have to file some application forms or submit some forms. So they perhaps, I think, do not know the procedure of getting the drawback refund. So that is why we had requested Mr. Jha, we had requested your department, and we are thankful that you have joined us, and today you will be enlightening our members about this scheme and how it operates. We have just prepared a small presentation where we can just run through. So see, next slide, please. See, these are the present rates of drawback on gold and silver. The present rate of drawback were, I think, announced sometime in January. For gold, it is 372.9 rupees per gram of the net gold content. This was increased from 272 rupees earlier. That is, I think these rates were announced on 28th of January, right? So before that, it was 272 rupees per gram. It was increased to 372.9 gram per gram for gold and 4,332 rupees 20 paisa per kg for net silver content. So these rates are announced periodically, and as Jha, you know, and as we have already represented to the department, the gold prices in the last 3-4 weeks have been increasing like anything, and presently it is somewhere around $1,700. In fact, even the tariff rate, which is announced by CBIC periodically, the price mentioned there is something like $548 per 10 grams. So the rates need to be revised. Next slide, please. Suruchi, next. There's a big apprehension about in the minds of the exporters that drawback, which to our mind is an automatic transfer of the amount to the account of the exporters, somehow doesn't get credited to the account of exporters. So in the early April, the CBIC had come out with a circular that all field formations would try and assist the exporters claim their pending drawbacks. And I think time period mentioned there was 30th of April. So I don't know whether it has been done by that time or not. We will request Mr. Jha to enlighten later on that. Next slide. Corresponding to this, the Delhi Customs had also come out with a circular whereby they had given the names of officers whom the exporters can contact for their pending drawback claims. These on your screen are the names of all the drawback officials to whom the exporters can contact in the northern region in Delhi. Likewise, every commissionerate has issued an order. So those who are not in Delhi, in Bombay or other cities, they can approach their commissionerates and come to know of the officers to whom they should contact for getting their pending claims of drawback. Next. That is all for today. And now I think I'll request Mr. Jha to explain to the members the scheme, how it operates, how they can get, and then later on the members who have any questions, they can on chat mention that, and we will seek the reply from Mr. Jha. So over to you, Jha sir.
Thank you, Dugal Sahab. Thank you, Seth sir. Thank you, madam, and good afternoon, everybody. I am Anand Jha. I am Joint Commissioner, Drawback Division currently. Dugal sir has raised some concerns about pending drawback issues, the lower rates of duty drawback that we currently have, and the need to increase the drawback rates, some procedural issues regarding filing of duty drawback claims and everything. So what I'll do is I'll initially start with a brief of the drawback scheme, how it functions, what are the requirements, and then I'll go on to the practical problems being faced by the trade and the exporters. So, sir, as you are aware, duty drawback scheme currently covers, so it's the government intention not to let exporters bear the burden of taxes. So it is our endeavor to get to the actual level of taxes that is incident in the export product and refund it to the exporters. So currently the duty drawback scheme neutralizes customs duty portion of the imported goods and the central excise duty portion. As you are aware, after the implementation of GST in India, the GST part, if any, on the domestic goods is being refunded through the GST refund system, and that's a separate procedure altogether. For duty drawback, we compensate customs duties and central excise duties on the domestic products. The shipping bill that the exporters file is in itself a complete claim of drawback. The exporters need not file any other document or any other application for claiming duty drawback. I would like to clarify here that this shipping bill being a claim of duty drawback is in respect of the all industry rates of duty drawback. So duty drawback, there are two ways of claiming duty drawback on exported goods. One is the claiming the all industry rate of duty drawback. The other is claiming brand rate of duty drawback. The basic difference is all industry rate is an industry average of the incidence of duties in the export product. Brand rate, on the other hand, calculates the exact incidence, exact duty payment in respect of any export product. Of course, the easier and the more convenient way is the all industry rate, but brand rate gives a better neutralization of the taxes because it's very specific to the export product. It's very specific to the exporter, how he is manufacturing goods, what inputs he is using. So brand rate being very specific gives a very accurate amount of duty drawback. All industry rates, on the other hand, is an average industry incidence. So for all industry rate, you file the shipping bill. In the shipping bill itself, there is drawback particulars to be given in the shipping bill itself. You give the drawback tariff item number, and then for gold and silver, the net content of gold in the export product is needed to be mentioned, and the drawback is calculated as per the net content of gold and silver in the export product. So once this shipping bill is filed and the goods are exported, then the EGM is filed, and then the shipping bill automatically moves to the drawback queue for processing and disbursal of the duty drawback. So there is a drawback officer who processes the drawback claim. The shipping bill goes to scroll out, then a copy of the scroll is sent to the bank, and the amount is disbursed to the exporters in the account that they have mentioned in the shipping bill. It's a completely automated process, except for the examination of goods and other things. Those are controlled by RMS of Customs RMS. So once this LEO happens, it's a very smooth transition to the bank accounts of the exporters. Now, as is the practically there are some problems that happen. Some of the exporters say that they do not receive the amount in time. There is delay in drawback processing. That might be true at some instances, but sir, I would like to tell that as per the data, about 40% of all shipping bills, all drawback claims are processed within a week of the LEO being filed. So we are trying to improve upon it. We are trying to get it to more than 75% of processing within a week. But yes, currently also we are doing around 35 to 40% of drawback claims being processed within a week of the LEO. Now, coming back to gold and silver specifically, the rates that we have now, rupees 372.9 for gold and rupees 4,332.2 for silver, they reflect a reality of pre-budget. They reflect a pre-budget reality. The tariff rates has increased, the exchange rate has increased, and we are seized of this issue. GJEPC has also represented for an upward revision in the drawback rates. And let me assure you, within a maximum of 10 to 15 days, we would have new all industry rates for gold and silver jewelry. That is the maximum I can say, maximum time period that I give you. Maximum within 10 to 15 days, we are in fact on the job. We are collecting data and we are doing all the calculations. There are some technical formalities which have to be fulfilled, and then within next 10 to 15 days, these rates are going to be revised. My preliminary estimate is, I think there should be around 15 to 20% increase in the drawback rates at least for gold. For gold at least, the 372 will go above 400, 410, 450. I cannot say for sure, but This is my guess. Anyways, within next 15 days, we will issue notification increasing the rates. So this was.
Jaja, sorry to interrupt you. I would like to just thank you for this information, because this will be a big relief for all the members. But as we have been requesting, the revision of rates is of utmost urgency, and your assurance that it is being considered and will be done soon is a big assurance for all of us, a big relief. Thank you for that.
It's our duty, sir. It's our duty.
Thank you. So please continue.
Yes, sir. No, the government is already seized of the matter, and we are in a hurry to do so, especially considering the situation that we are facing now because of this COVID pandemic. The government wants to give benefits and to all the exporters, and especially expedite their money. So basically, duty incidence is the exporters' money, which they have paid and which is required to be refunded. So the government is seized of the matter. Coming next to the, this was the all industry rate of duty drawback, the processes, and what the government is planning to do about this. We have, sir, the brand rate of duty drawback also. In case any exporter feels that the amount that he is entitled to is more than 20%, is 20% more than what the current oil industry rates are, then they can go for brand rate fixation also. So supposedly, for an example, if the oil industry rate for gold is rupees 80 per gram, and the exporter feels that what he is manufacturing and exporting, the incidence is rupees 100 per gram or more than rupees 100 per gram, then he can go for a brand rate also to get the exact amount that he thinks is he is paying for the export products. For this, there is Rule 7 of Customs and Central Excise Duties Drawback Rules 2017. So Drawback Rules 2017, Rule 7 provides this. What has to be done is the shipping bill is filed again with the declaration, again with the particulars of export, and then the exporter gives the tariff head as has to indicate a tariff head of 9807. So once he indicates 9807 before the tariff head, the shipping bill automatically goes to the brand rate queue. Right, then once LEO is done and EGM is done, the AIR portion that he is anyways entitled to is credited to his account, just as the way all industry rate is done. And for further amount, the exporter will have to make an application to the Commissioner of Customs at the port of export that my duty incidence is rupees 100. The AIR is rupees 79. I have applied under brand rate. I have got the AIR of rupees 79. I want 29 more. So this application, and there are some verifications to be done at the customs port. After the due verifications, the rest 21 rupees. So a total of 100 rupees is given to the exporter. This is exporter specific. This is export goods specific brand rate. Yes, it is currently, I would admit, it's a slightly lengthier process. It takes about 3 to 6 months for this to happen, but we are working on it to get the brand rate thing also compact and smooth, so that the actual amount which is paid by the exporter is paid to him. All industry rate is generally slightly lower than the actual incidence. But since it is more convenient and less time consuming, exporters and the trade prefers it. Now, so this was all the all industry rate and the brand rate on duty drawback.
Elaborate as to from where to apply for brand rate, whether it is to be applied centrally to the drawback department in Delhi, or it is to be applied from where the exporter is exporting.
The application for brand rate is to be filed with the commissioner where the export has taken place. So there is Circular 23 of 2017. Circular number 23 of 2017. This is 29th July and 29th June 2017, where the process has been explained and the concerned ports have been detailed as to where the application is to be filed. So that can be done. I would come back.
Okay.
I would come back to one more point that that was raised regarding the drawback refund exercise from special refund and drawback disposal drive that was to happen from 9th of April onwards. There was circular and there were instructions from the board in the PPT. Sir, as far as duty drawback is concerned, from 9th of April to 30th of April, in the 22 days period, Customs has disbursed 1409 crores of duty drawback and about 2.67 lakh shipping bills have been processed in those 21 days.
Oh, very good.
Yes, the pendency is still there, but we have made an effort to get as much as money back to the exporters, back to the trade as much as possible. So, and we are still, though officially the drive was only till 30th, we are still on the job. We are still trying to get the drawback tendencies liquidated as soon as possible so that the money comes back to the exporters.
Very good.
So, sir, this was a very brief on the all industry rate and brand rate, and especially with respect to gold and silver jewelry and articles thereof. Lastly, before I end, I must come back again to the rates, I think, which everybody is more concerned. So let me once again assure you that the government is serious of the matter, and there will be an upward revision of the rates at the earliest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Mr. Jha, for your very exhaustive and informative details which you have given. Some of our members have some queries. I will just read out one by one and you can guide this. Our regional chairman in Calcutta would like to know whether they can claim both drawback and GST refunds on the same shipping bill.
Yes, sir.
As they are exporting GST paid goods. If they are
Yes,
exporting
sir.
GST paid goods.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I get the question. Now I'll answer, sir. You can, every exporter can claim refund of drawback and GST separately. There is no bar on claiming any, there is no bar on claiming or there is no bar on claiming drawback if you have claimed GST refund. So both of these are different taxes. Both of these are to be refunded by the government, and there are provisions, there are separate provisions. GST refund is under the GST Act, drawback refund is under Customs Act. So these are separate acts, but yes,
Both are available.
Taxes are refundable.
Secondly, as you yourself said, that the drawback, all industry drawback rates are basically the refund of the BCD and not they do not include the GST part.
Yes, sir.
But in our sector, see, the import duty itself is 12.5%. All along, we see that the drawback rates are at least around 7 to 8% only. So we are losing 4%. So the drawback rates should be, at least nearer to 12%, if not exactly 12.5%.
Okay, sir. We will take this into account.
Please,
We will surely take this into account in this time when we are calculating the drawback.
so one more question is, when they are fixing, when an exporter is getting brand rate fixed, then will it be for future shipments or can he get for the shipments he has made in the past 1 year or so?
Sir, brand rate as the scheme currently is applicable to both the. So there are both ways of claiming brand rate. Either you export the goods and then claim brand rate, saying that these are the goods that I have exported, and these are the inputs that I had used in manufacturing those, and claim brand rate, or you get the brand rate fixed before the shipment, that this is the stock of imported goods or domestic goods that I have now, and based on these, please fix the rates, and I will export these goods within the next 6 months or within the next 1 year, or I will export so much quantity. So both ways are possible, sir.
Okay, very good. So one more pertinent question is,
Yes, sir.
see, the raw material, gold and silver, are imported in US dollars currency. The price of metal, as you know, fluctuates on a daily basis. So is the rate of dollar fluctuating every day. Now, we have a very, typical case where the raw material which we get fluctuates every day in the price as well as in the exchange rate. And whereas the drawback rates, they are fixed in rupees. So many a times, there's a big mismatch. The mismatch goes to more than 4, 5% or 6% even. So can't we have drawback rates like we had in the initial stage when the drawback scheme was announced for our sector? At that time, the drawback rates were fixed, like 200 rupees or 300 rupees for 10 grams. And the import duty was also fixed in rupees ad valorem and not in percentage. So now that we have percentage-wise duty, so can't we have the drawback also on percentage? Like if it is 12.5% import duty, we can have a drawback rate of say 10% or 11% instead of having a fixed in rupees.
This is a new proposal, sir. It will have to be examined. We will examine this issue again.
Yes.
And because till now it's been ad valorem, it's been a specific rates. It's been continuing for so long, so it's there. Now that you have suggested to fix an ad valorem rate, we will surely examine this issue.
I think if you have fixed rates, if the import duty is fixed, then the fixed rates are okay.
Yes. No, I get it, sir. I get the point. Now this is an issue we will take up.
And one more question which one of our member has is, right now the drawback rates are on outright exports. Means you export and you get payment, finished. But we in our sector, most of our export happens on consignment basis, where you export and within the period of 6 months you get payments in in batches when the goods are sold, and maybe after the end of 6 months you have some percentage of goods unsold which are returned. So can't we have drawback on consignment exports?
Drawback on consignment exports?
Yes. Although it is not there, we would like to have that all industry rates be fixed for consignment exports also.
Okay, sir.
That is one thing to examine. I mean,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
not there.
I'm noting everything down, sir. I'm noting.
One more question we have is
Sir.
that DTA supplies to SEZ are considered as export. If there is a unit in SEZ, and if I am supplying from DTA to SEZ, then
Yes, sir.
my supply is considered as export. And there is a drawback circular also, same, I think 2017, which says that it is considered as export and that either the two parties can claim the benefit of drawback. But incidentally, it is not happening because neither the SEZ authorities are clear, and since the supplies are made from DTA, the supplier in DTA doesn't know from where to claim his drawback. Can you please enlighten on that if possible?
Sir, the DTA supplier can claim the duty drawback, especially the brand rate he can claim from his jurisdictional customs authority only.
All industry rates?
All industry rates, since SEZ exports are not on EDI, on the
that
customs, that's not on ICES, that's not on EDI. So I think the SEZ authorities give them all industry rates. I'll check up with SEZ authorities on this, sir.
Right.
And I'll check out what exactly the issue, why they are not allowing it, and then I can get back to GJEPC on this. I'll check up the issue with SEZ authorities also.
All right. That is more or less what the people had been asking for so far. Any additional document which is to be submitted for fixing of brand rate?
No, sir. In fact, what I can do is I cannot often tell you the exact number of documents. I will mail to GJEPC the exact procedure, the circular instructions in this behalf. I think that would be a better way of telling all the exporters all the things. But aside from that, I must tell you that there are no specific documents required. There is an application form, and then we have a working sheet which tells that these are the inputs that I had used. This was the quantity of inputs that I had used, and these are the modes of procurement. I had imported this earlier, and this is the duty payment I had done. So one is the duty payment details. So there are 3 annexures: annexure 1, 2, and 3. So annexure wise, the application form, annexures, and no other duty paying documents are obviously required to be submitted. But again, we are streamlining that process also, so that lesser and lesser documents are required to be submitted by the exporter. That streamlining might take about 6 months, but we are doing it to reduce the number of documents and to just let one application form and 1 or 2 annexures be there. That's it. So I'll mail all the current provisions of branded fixation so that it could be circulated to the exporters.
Very good. I think if you can send us that will be a great help. We will circulate it. So one more doubt or query in the mind of exporters was, as you had mentioned, and as it is, the scheme says the drawback amount is credited to the account of the exporter automatically once the export is made.
Yes,
normally, how often is that done? Is it done on a weekly basis or a fortnightly basis?
Sir, as I told earlier, the drawback officer clears 40%. The drawback clearing is done daily, on a daily basis, and then scrolls are issued once or twice a week, depending on how much pendency is there. So for a big customs station, the scrolls are issued twice weekly. For a smaller customs station, the scroll is issued once weekly. The scroll is then sent to the bank, which then further disburse the amount in exporters' accounts. So even if we do it bi-weekly, if we 2 times in a week, then maybe banks would be collating all the scraws and then sending it to their headquarters for clearance. That might take another 5 to 7 days. But as far as customs is concerned, we are taking out scrolls at least 1 or 2 times every week.
Good. So that means basically that the exporter has not to file for drawback. It is an automatic process. There is
Yes,
no
sir.
separate application for that.
No separate application.
Number two, that say maybe maximum in 10 to 15 days, the amount should get credited to the account of the exporter.
Yes, sir.
Maximum, we can take it that way. Now, one more problem
It's
arises.
not practical. This is not practical, Mr. Jha. You are
Sir.
saying that it is possible in 10 to 15 days, but practical is like.
सर आ जा रहा है काफी लोगों का तो
सर प्रैक्टिकली मैं आपको डेटा से बता रहा हूँ 40% शिपिंग बिल जो लियो होते हैं हर रोज 35 से 40% वो हफ्ते के अंदर हम स्क्रॉल आउट कर देते हैं 35 से 40%। हमारी कोशिश है कि हम इसको 75% तक लेकर जाएं, 80% तक लेकर जाएं। हम वहां तक प्रैक्टिकली अभी नहीं पहुंच पाए हैं, लेकिन 35 से 40% शिपिंग बिल अभी भी हम एक हफ्ते के अंदर स्क्रॉल आउट कर देते हैं। स्क्रॉल आउट होने के बाद थोड़ा सा टाइम बैंक के पास भी लगता है चेक क्लियरेंस में और अमाउंट डिसबर्सल में, तो उसको अगर छोड़ दें सिर्फ कस्टम्स का देखें तो मैं आपको ये डाटा बता रहा हूँ कि 35 से 40% हमारा स्क्रॉल आउट हो जाता है एक हफ्ते में।
मेन प्रॉब्लम अराइजेस क्या होता है एक्सपोर्टर जनरली 2-3 बैंक के साथ डील करता है
जी, और
कई बार क्या होता है कि जो उसने अपना अकाउंट नंबर मेंशन किया हुआ है बैंक का वो पुराना हो जाता है और वो ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम उसका मेन ट्रांजैक्शंस दूसरे बैंक में होने शुरू हो जाते हैं। तो कोई ऐसी व्यवस्था है कि वो अपना अकाउंट डिटेल्स ड्रॉबैक के लिए चेंज कर पाए? क्योंकि क्या एक बार शिपिंग बिल में जो ऑटोमेटिक सिस्टम में आया होता है, बिकॉज लॉट ऑफ पीपल हैव कंप्लेन कि जो बैंक उनका डिटेल एक बार शिपिंग बिल में या ईडीआई सिस्टम में लगा हुआ है, दे आर नॉट एबल टू चेंज एंड एज अ रिजल्ट पुराना अकाउंट उनका डोरमेंट होता है। इधर से ड्रॉबैक अमाउंट चाहे वो प्रोसेस भी हो जाए उनके अकाउंट में जा नहीं पाता है।
सर बिल्कुल प्रोविजन है, जो भी पोर्ट के एसीडीसी हैं उनके पास ये अथॉरिटी है बैंक अकाउंट डिटेल्स चेंज करने की। और इनफैक्ट मैं सर आपको बताऊं कई ड्रॉबैक कई बार इसलिए भी रुक जाता है कि जो अकाउंट है तो वो पीएफएमएस वैलिडेटेड नहीं होता है। तो इस कारण जब वो स्क्रॉल उन एक्सपोर्टर्स के पैसे जब वापस आ जाते हैं बैंक से कि इनका डिस्ट्रीब्यूट नहीं हो पाया क्योंकि ये पीएफएमएस वैलिडेटेड नहीं थे, तो एसीडीसी की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि वो एक्सपोर्टर्स को बताएं कि आपका ये वापस आ गया है, आप इसको चेंज करा लीजिए, आप ये बैंक अकाउंट डिटेल्स बदल दीजिए।
असल में एसीडीसी बताते नहीं है ना
सर। मैं ऐसा कर सकता हूँ कि
आप कुछ गाइड करिए, क्योंकि अभी एक एक्सपोर्टर ने कहा है जस्ट नाउ वन मिस्टर कुणाल जैनी सिंह कि उनका नवंबर का पेंडिंग है।
सर ये एक पॉसिबिलिटी हो सकती है कि उनका पीएफएम अकाउंट पीएफएमएस वैलिडेटेड नहीं हो। इस इंस्ट्रक्शन हमने अपने सारे जोन्स को अभी भेजे हैं, उसकी कॉपी मैं जेजेईपीसी को भी भेज देता हूँ।
प्लीज मेल कर दीजिए आपको।
हाँ, अभी हमने सारे जोन्स को ये कहा है कि ये पीएफएमएस वैलिडेशन वाला एरर आप ठीक करें, ताकि और इसमें ये होता है ना कि ये जो शिपिंग बिल है वो स्क्रॉलिंग में ही रुका रह जाता है, वो बार बार अकाउंट नॉन वैलिडेशन के कारण स्क्रॉल आउट में जाके वापस स्क्रॉलिंग में चला आता है, इसलिए परेशानी होती है। हमने जोन्स को कहा है इस प्रॉब्लम को ठीक करने के लिए, वो हमारे जो इंस्ट्रक्शन है वो मैं आपको भी कॉपी कर देता हूँ, ताकि आप जो भी एसीडीसी कंसर्न है जहाँ भी प्रॉब्लम हो रही है उसको जाके दिखा के ये काम कराया जा सकता है।
वेरी गुड। Any other question if any member has? I think that is enough. No more questions as of now. चलिए, I think that is all. So thank you.
दुग्गल जी मैं थोड़ी देर डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया था.
हाँ बताइए. हाँ बताइए.
अभी कुछ मेंबर्स मैंने देखा था अपने यहाँ वेबिनार में हैं प्रेजेंट, जिनको अपना शिकायत की उन्होंने जनवरी का भी अपना ड्रॉबैक नहीं मिला, मार्च का नहीं मिला. आपको ही पता है इस बारे में. तो जहाँ साहब प्लीज थोड़ा उसको देखें कि लोगों का जनवरी का ड्रॉबैक भी पेंडिंग में है, मार्च का भी पेंडिंग में है.
जी सर, मैं ऐसा करता हूँ, या फिर मैं आपसे एक रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ कि ये जो भी है ना, एक कंसोलिडेटेड आप हमें चाहे बना के
I'll send you.
जी we'll send you.
So it will be easier for us to take it up with the concerned
I do
authority.
understand.
Right.
All right, sir. All right.
We'll send you.
Good.
So thank you, Mr. Jha, for
Thank you,
sparing
sir.
your time, and we are really grateful to you. You have been very supportive, and the fact that you mentioned that we should send you a consolidated list of all such pending drawback or grievances, and which you would help in getting sorted out, is a big relief and assurance on your behalf. Thank you very much for that. We really appreciate your sincerity in doing it. Thank you for coming, and we will keep bothering you as and when required.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much on behalf of the Gem & Jewelry Council.
Yeah, we are thankful to you.
Thank for giving time. Thank you so much.
Sir. Thank you, sir. It was my pleasure.
Thank you. Please convey our thanks to the JS also.
Bye, sir. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Sure, I'll convey, sir.
Thank you.